and welcome to Courage TV, or Courage in Flight TV show. Courage TV celebrates everyday people who have taken courageous steps in their lives. And today I'm here with a special guest. Her name is Tamara Hamilton. She's an accredited public speaker. She's also a diversity and inclusion coach and a leadership coach as well. And she's going to teach us how to cook a special dish. So Tamara, what are we cooking today?
Well, today we're cooking scrambled tofu, and then we're also going to make a healthy morning smoothie.
Okay, sounds good.
Well, I'll tell you about what we're making and why we're making it. We're making scrambled tofu because today so many people want to stop eating eggs. I know I stopped eating eggs more than 2 decades ago. I've been a vegetarian and a vegan off and on, either one, for 42 years now. So I was at the beginning of that health movement when people decided not to eat meat, not to eat chicken, not to eat fish, eggs, or cheese. And many people think, well, how do you survive if I cut that out? So with so many people having high blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, constipation, and so many health opportunities, I will call it, I thought I would come on today and show people how to make a quick morning meal. Now I'm going to be using an electric skillet, but you don't have to use an electric skillet. I just like the electric skillet. And so first we're going to turn it on. Make sure, okay. And I'm just going to put my temperature on so that the skillet is heating up. If you do have an electric skillet, I heat up to about 300 or so, but this can be made in a regular frying pan, So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the onions. Our ingredients today, I have a cup of onions. They're just in two bowls. So I'm going to put the onions in.
It looks like red onions, right?
Red onions, you can use Vidalia onions, any kind. I just like red onions because I like color in my food. Yeah. Now, one thing you're going to notice is that I didn't put any oil in here. The other part of my eating routine is that I don't use oil anymore. I don't use salt, and I don't use sugar or fat. So this is how you can pull off this amazing meal that I guarantee you even your children will like, as long as you don't tell them what it is. So now we've got our, not our eggs, we've got our green onions there. So because I don't have oil, what I use is vegetable broth.
Oh, great.
Low sodium vegetable broth. It's very important that it's low sodium. Okay? So I act like this is any vegetable oil.
Yeah.
And if you're using just a little bit in there.
A normal skillet, is it medium heat then?
Yeah, medium heat.
Okay, got it.
And then once it's on medium heat and your onions start to, what do you call it, caramelize. That's what you want. They're not going to really caramelize too much here because I have the vegetable oil. I mean the
vegetable broth?
The vegetable broth. I have to get out of that habit. So this is so easy because you put everything in at once. I put in the tofu. I'm using 2 containers of tofu. If you're a family of just 2 or 3, one might do it, but there are 3 of us in my family. I still use 2 because it's good as leftovers. I don't want to cook every day. What I've done is the tofu comes with a lot of water. So you drain out the water, and then I just kind of take a knife and come through and, for today's purposes, just kind of chop it up. But normally I just use my hands to get it in there. So I put the tofu in.
So it doesn't have to be perfect. And it looks like it's extra firm tofu.
This is extra firm tofu. You want to get sprouted tofu. It's just a healthier grade of tofu. I can do this with my hands, and you can see it's already starting to get hot. But today I'm just going to chop it up and let you see what you can do with this. So once I get the tofu in there, then I'm going to put in another one, which I've sort of chopped up already. Some people leave it as cubes. Because I'm calling this scrambled tofu, I want it to come as close to looking like eggs as possible. And so I'm just going to mess around in there and play with it. If you have children, Oh my gosh, let them wash their hands. I let my niece and nephew play with this. And then they can just come in and just mush it up. And I find that kids will eat things that they're a part of. So now this is our tofu. I'm going to add some raisins. And the reasons for raisins is just, it's sweet. So it's going to give it a kind of a little kick. Now these are organic raisins, but then also, because I like color, I'm just going to put in, and I would say that's probably a half a cup of raisins. And then I'll throw in just a couple of the golden raisins just for color. If you have some cherry tomatoes, slice them in half, throw that in there. And so this is now going to cook on its own. And then the chard. Kids don't like vegetables, and some people say, well, I don't like vegetables.
Yeah.
Well, take a little bit of chard.
The chard, it looks a little bit like kale.
It
right?
looks like kale. And you could use kale, you could use chard, you can chop it up real fine. But the idea is that you're getting more color. The more color you have in your dish, the healthier it is.
Yeah.
So we're going to put in a little more chard. And the chard comes on a stalk, but I've already cut the stalk off. And I'll use that stalk in my smoothie. Okay?
Oh, great.
So now we've got the chard in here.
Yeah, normally I just throw them away, but that's a great.
No, don't throw.
That's
No,
a great
don't throw
thing.
those away. And now this is going to begin to cook. Now here's the magic part.
Yeah, I can start smelling the onion flavor.
Yes,
It's
and if
getting-
you had garlic, you can put any vegetable in here. Now this is where I think the magic comes in, is because I put in the turmeric. And lots
Nice.
of people realize how healthy turmeric is today. What is the turmeric going to do? Other than giving us rich nutrients, it's going to turn the kale yellow.
Wow.
So now I'm going to have the illusion of scrambled eggs.
Yeah, this is one of the ingredients that are often found in Indian food.
Exactly.
Turmeric,
and that's where I go
cumin.
for a lot of my spices, because their spices move quickly because it's part of their culture to use turmeric. So you know that your turmeric will not have been sitting on the shelf for weeks.
Right.
That it's going to move.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now,
So
which cuisine is this? Is this an American dish? Is this Tamara?
tofu is really known in the Japanese culture.
Got it.
And when I first was introduced to tofu, I bought a book called The Book of Tofu,
Oh,
which
wow.
gives you, and it's still on the market,
Yeah.
that gives you the whole history of tofu. I used to make my own tofu because tofu wasn't sold in this country in packages like this. So in order for me to get tofu, I made it myself. I started with the soybeans. A friend of mine gave me a tofu press, and I could only make one block at a time, but it was almost an all-day process.
Right.
I made my own soy milk for my son.
Wow.
My son was born in 1981. I didn't want to do dairy with him, and so I made soy milk from the soybeans. So I was one of those pioneers that did a lot of things from scratch. Now, here's our dish. We could have put spinach in here.
Yeah.
We could have put kale in here.
Right.
If you had some sliced zucchini, mushrooms, this is an imagination dish. And what I tell people, if you want to be creative, start with tofu. And now you say, oh, well, you know what? You said you weren't using salt. Well, we have to have some salt flavor. So now what I do is I put in a little bit of smoked paprika.
Ooh, yum.
And I cook like my mom. I don't measure a whole lot. But for your sake, you could say a teaspoon.
Okay.
A half a teaspoon, teaspoon.
Yeah, you can
Of
really
the-
see the yellow color.
Yes. And
With
now we're going to
orange.
put in a little bit of cayenne.
Yes.
That's to taste.
It's a little kicked.
And then I have something called Table Tasty. It's a substitute for salt.
Oh.
So what I do is I put this in. It's all herbs. It's all herbs, but it will give a salt flavor. And let's see, it's a blend of 13 herbs, vegetables, and spices. And you can use this with potatoes, popcorn, eggs, corn on the cob, and it's going to taste just like salt.
Wow.
But it won't give you the sodium. It won't give you or contribute to your high blood pressure. Now I've got a little bit of taco seasoning. And I buy my herbs bulk and my spices bulk from my health food market. So I'm just going to put in a little bit of taco seasoning. And I would say this is like only like even a half of a teaspoon.
Yeah. And what's in taco seasoning?
Cumin, most flavors that you're going to find in the Mexican cuisine. Now here's the extra thing I add, and this is dulse. Dulse gives you iron and it gives you electrolytes.
Okay.
And so dulse comes from the sea, and I put this on every meal because I want to make sure that my spices, just like my food, become medicine for me. So I put just a little bit of dulse in there.
So what does dulse do for the human body?
Well, we can be dehydrated, and dulse restores the electrolytes that we use up. Some people get their electrolytes from sports drinks,
Right.
or they'll get it from
Gatorade.
yeah, those kind of things. But really, they don't. Not to speak against them, if you want to be as healthy as possible, then you're going to use dulse, or you're going to use kelp. You can get all of this from your health food store.
Wow.
So this is what our dish now looks like. And you can see it's a pretty dish. It's a very pretty dish.
I can see if you add tomatoes,
Yeah, if you add tomatoes,
colorful peppers, red and orange.
colorful peppers, red and orange, yellow. If you add zucchini, I really like to add mushrooms, different types of mushrooms. You put it all in there. You can get as creative as possible. What I just showed you is a basic recipe for scrambled tofu.
Wow. And it's
so
very versatile, too.
It's very versatile. And basically, it's just, you don't have to cook it that long.
Right.
And so as you can see, this is just about ready.
Yeah,
And
it
so all
looks
I
like
have to
scrambled
do-
eggs.
It looks like scrambled eggs. Thank you very much. And we've got our little bit of green in there. So if you don't like chard, then throw it in here. If you don't like kale, cut up a little bit, because we should have at least 10 to 13 vegetables per day.
Wow.
10 to 13. Most of us won't get that many. And that's okay. Because if you learn to make smoothies and you play around with a dish like this, now I could open up a can of pinto beans, organic pinto beans, drain them, throw those in here. So now you've got a fortified protein meal. People say, vegetarians, where do you get your protein? I get it from tofu, I get it from all the green vegetables, and I get it from beans. So you could take black beans, drain them, throw in a handful of black beans. You can put the black beans, the kidney beans, pinto beans. You can put all those right in here. Or if
Yeah.
you had lentils.
Right.
So this is your base. It's just like, ladies, when you have that basic black outfit that you can add to it. That's what the tofu dish is all about.
It's very versatile. I love it.
Yes, and let me just repeat.
Okay.
We use vegetable broth. We use turmeric. We use a variety of seasonings, including smoked paprika, cayenne, dulse, and dulse is spelled D-U-L-S-E. And then we use our tasty seasoning.
Oh, you can
And
see it
so-
as dancing on
Yes.
the pot.
It'll dance a little bit because this is a special utensil that I have here. What that dancing tells me is to cut it off.
Oh, got it.
And then it'll just now cook from its own heat. Yes.
Wow, amazing. So what's your inspiration for cooking?
My inspiration is trying to be as healthy as I can possibly be. I'm 67 years old. I'm going to my high school reunion, my 50th reunion. And when I walk into that room, I want people's heads to turn and say, wow, we're all the same age, but what happened to you?
Yeah.
My skin glows, and I know it's because of my diet and exercise, but mainly because of the diet.
That's amazing. Great.
Now, would you like to taste
Sure,
the scrambled
absolutely.
tofu?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have 2 plates here.
And let's take the foil off of this one.
Ah,
This one does not have the green in it, but everything else is the same. This one has
let me
peppers.
bring it over.
Yes.
So you prepared some freshly made for us.
Yes. And so
Beforehand.
this one was prepared before I left.
Got it.
And we've got bell peppers in this one. And
I love the colors.
And so you see it's red. And I purposely put the brown of the raisins so that it would contrast against the yellow of the tofu.
Got it.
Go.
Thank you.
You're quite welcome.
So what I love about this dish is that it spans many cuisines.
It does.
It
You've
can be
got
an American
Indian,
dish,
yes.
right? Or Indian. You can have Moroccan with the
Yes,
raisins,
yes.
and then Mexicans.
Yes, and if
Red
I
beans.
had put in the dates, then we bring in the Middle East.
Right.
Is there another fork?
Yeah.
I saw 2. Oh, and you know what? Since this is a breakfast dish, I did something a little bit extra. I did what's called breakfast patties.
Okay.
This you just put in the microwave. This is not something that I made. I let some of the oil, just take one.
Okay.
You can use your hand. Okay. And I'll take the other one.
Got it.
So now, this is what our plate looks like for breakfast. Add a piece of toast, some strawberry jam, and it looks like to your kids and your family, you're eating scrambled eggs.
Wow. And the texture is right on.
It's excellent. I love my own cooking.
Yeah, I would not be able to tell that this is not eggs. And
then?
the raisin gives it a little sour note and sweet. It's a nice cake.
Then you add in the breakfast patty, and you think you're eating a pork or beef or turkey sausage, but you're eating all vegetables. Everything here is plant-based and good for you.
So your breakfast patty, you buy it in the frozen section?
I buy that in the frozen section.
And
You can get that at any grocery store. You don't have to go to a health food store because all of the major grocery stores are carrying various brands of breakfast patties.
Wow. I really love this recipe.
Great. Well, maybe we should try the smoothie now.
All right.
I'm going to eat one more bit because I love it.
It's delicious.
Okay.
And you can change it up. It could be a breakfast dish or lunch or dinner.
Anytime. Anytime. Remember, if we put in the black beans, we put in the pinto beans, now we fix a tortilla shell. And we put the tofu into the tortilla shell along with our lettuce and onions. And now we've got a tofu taco.
Wow.
Or a tofu burrito, depending on if you use a corn tortilla or a flour tortilla.
Then you can make a salad with it, like a taco salad.
And then if you had rice, some brown rice, you can add the tofu to the rice. Or if you had quinoa. So this is really a baseline dish. I hope all of you will try it.
Yeah. It's almost like eating white rice.
Yes.
With many other accompaniments.
That's right, because white rice or the brown rice, you can chop up green tomatoes, or not green tomatoes, green onions. Chop up some tomatoes, and then you can saute. You have this, so now if you want to do egg fried rice, this is going to replace your eggs. You'll still fry your rice. I still fry my rice in vegetable broth, and I add in the rice, the onions, and then because this will already be cooked, once I take the rice out, then I mix this in.
Wow, that's great. Yeah, I love the substitution of the broth.
Yes.
My mind is always default oil or butter.
No.
The broth works perfectly.
And it'll take the weight off.
Right.
Not that you have to work. So now, let's say we get up in the morning and we don't even have time to do the tofu, but we want to have something healthy to start our day. I've already put in a little bit of water here. The water is going to depend on how much you have, how much you want, how many vegetables you have in here.
Okay.
So what we're going to do, you can always put blueberries in with something green. So we've got some blueberries here.
So these are frozen blueberries.
They probably won't be now, but I've had them in the car. But I like frozen blueberries because it'll give a little bit of a kick. So we put the blueberries, and you get some of the blueberry juice in there.
A kick as compared to fresh blueberry?
You can do it with fresh blueberries as well. But frozen, when you have fresh blueberries, you got to eat them at a certain time.
Right.
Or they're going to spoil. But with frozen, you can always have them in the refrigerator. So I keep frozen and fresh because sometimes I don't get to my blueberries fast enough.
Yeah.
Now, we're going to throw in the chard.
Got it.
And I chopped it a little bit, but you could just take it off the stalk and put it in here. I'm putting it in the Vitamixer, which is a super blender. I tell people if you put your hand in this Vitamixer, it will juice it. So with the Vitamixer,
Let's be very careful.
yes, you must be very, very careful. So we'll just take some of this,
Okay.
and then we'll move this over here to this side, and we'll bring in our apples.
Now, are you going to put some of the stalks in as well? Or is
You
that
know what?
later?
I'm using these stalks for my juice tomorrow.
Got
And
it.
I haven't cleaned them as well, so I'm not going to use them today, but I'll put one in that I know is clean. So you never throw away your stalks. And so we're going to take a little bit, we're going to take the apple and put that in there. And when you do this kind of work, make sure you have good knives. Otherwise, it can be a problem.
Yeah.
All right. And then we always want it to taste good. If I did that just like it was, it would be okay. But I'm going to take some dates.
Wow.
These are
Yum.
medjool dates. And to use a date, you have a little bit of a pit at the end. You take that out.
And is there a seed in the middle too?
There is definitely a seed in the middle. So you want to open that up, take the seed out. Haven't figured out what to do with the seed yet. The deer eat everything that I plant in my garden. So I'm going to use 3 dates on this, and that should be enough.
Now, what I love about dates is that it has a really sweet flavor.
Exactly, and it's good for you. So I don't use any other sweetener now except dates. Sometimes I use coconut nectar. So that's all we're going to put in here. If you had some spirulina powder, bee pollen, you could put that in there. But this is it. And because I want to make it as quick as possible, turn that on. And this is just to make sure everything is going to go. I pulse it. And we just want to let it go until we think it's very, very smooth.
Yeah.
I think we have 2 cups underneath.
Okay.
And this is our morning smoothie.
Nice.
It's up to you how thick you want it to be. I want mine to be juice-like so that I can drink it very quickly and be off to start my day.
Okay.
Now, if I had almond milk, I could have just put almond milk, blueberries, and the fruit, and I would have a fruit smoothie.
Oh, yum.
Here's to a great
Cheers.
health to you. It's good.
It's creamy and sweet, and it has a little sourness, probably from the apples.
From the apples. And if you wanted more fruit, but you don't want to add in strawberries because that's an acid fruit.
Right.
You want to keep everything alkaline.
Oh, okay. And what's the purpose of alkaline?
We don't want things to sour on our stomachs. So if I wanted to do oranges, grapes, oranges, grapes, grapefruit, I could put all those together. But I want to keep my apples and my bananas and my blueberries together.
Oh, got it.
But I want to keep my melons separate from everything. So never eat watermelon, cantaloupe, or honeydew with any other thing. And once you eat something, you want to allow 30 minutes of transit time, meaning for it to move through your system. If you drink water, you only need to wait 1 minute to 10 minutes before you can add something to your body. And most of us don't think about how long does it take meat, fish, potatoes, beans, or whatever to run through our system.
Right.
But you can get online transit time for food, and it'll tell you when you should wait.
Got it. So you want to eat food and then wait a certain amount of time before you eat again.
Right.
And
you can eat meat and vegetables together. But when it comes to trying to be really healthy,
Yeah.
you want to eat your vegetables, wait 30 minutes before you drink anything. If you drink anything, drink it 30 minutes before you eat. But that old habit of having something, a water glass, a juice glass, and we eat and we drink and we eat, and we, no. All it will do is just cause your digestive system to say, stop! And then it can crash on you.
Wow.
Yes.
Now, is there instructions on can you eat hot versus cold food, and how do you mix them together?
That part I'm not sure about.
Yeah.
I think that's okay. But what you want to do when you get up in the morning is try to drink 32 ounces of warm water. If you drink, that's almost like people saying I have to have my coffee to get my system going.
Yeah.
You don't really need the coffee. 32 ounces of warm water, and you sip it. Think about how the British sip tea
Right.
all day long.
Yeah.
It's for the constitution, for the digestive system. And so if we get up and take 32 ounces of warm water and do it meditatively, don't guzzle it down. You can't because it's very warm.
Yep.
And what will happen is you'll find that your metabolism kicks right in.
Wow, that's amazing.
And that helps to start your day.
Yeah. So you were just at a retreat, right? A
Yes.
detox retreat.
I went to a detox retreat in Lemon Grove, California. And I did it because I had gotten inflamed lungs, I think from the environment, and had a severe asthma attack.
Oh.
Had all this medicine in me, and I said, you know what, to get all this medicine out
Yeah.
and these toxins out, I'm going to detox for 2 weeks.
Wow.
In those 2 weeks, it included 3 days of juice fast the first week and 3 days the second week. And our juice fasts were chard, spinach, kale, cucumber, zucchini, and celery in different mixtures. Yes.
Wow. And how was the experience for you?
It was exhilarating.
Yeah.
It was transformative. So it's got me cooking better.
Right.
It's got me focusing on making sure that when I do eat, I eat 80% raw food
Right.
and 20% cooked food.
Wow. Okay.
And that's just helping me to stay younger and more fit.
yeah. Yeah.
Yes. And then trying to make sure that I eat organic as often as possible.
Right.
Especially one thing I'll leave with everyone, go to ewg.org, ewg.org, and it will tell you the top dirtiest foods and the top healthiest foods.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Now, is there a place where we can find out more information about you?
Yes, you can call me at 703-300-8212. Sometimes you'll get an answering service, but I'll call you back. Or go to my website and sign up at www.tamarashamilton.com.
Wonderful.
Thank you for having me today.
Yeah. Thank you for being here. And that's all the time that we have, folks. This is Courage TV, or Courage in Flight. We hope that you continue to reach for your dreams and go for whatever you wish for. And keep on eating healthy, enjoying your life, and cheers to good health.